Will no entreaties cause thee to turn a favourable eye upon thy creature, who implores thy goodness and compassion? Aim for the moon. If you miss, you may hit a star. Untutored courage is useless in the face of educated bullets. If God had really intended men to fly, he'd make it easier to get to the airport. Sure, jets are fast and economical, but oh my, what fun we've lost and what leisure we've sacrificed in the race for efficiency. The incomplete becomes complete, the crooked becomes straight, the empty becomes full, the worn out becomes new. If there are no dogs in heaven, then when I die, I want to go where they went. I am fond of pigs. Dogs look up to us. Cats look down on us. Pigs treat us as equals. There is no easy way to train an apprentice. My two tools are example and nagging. We are all apprentices in a craft where no one ever becomes a master. I shot an arrow into the air. It fell to earth, I knew not where. May the forces of evil become confused while your arrow is on its way to the target. A physician without a knowledge of astrology has no right to call himself a physician. I don't believe in astrology. I'm a Sagittarius and we're skeptical. Astronomy compels the soul to look upwards and leads us from this world to another. Astronomy is much more fun when you're not an astronomer. Let's get on our knees and pray. I don't know to whom. Is there a patron saint of ballistics yet? It's one thing to surmise what happened, but we don't speculate on that until ballistics confirms what happened. If you owe the bank $100, that's your problem. If you owe the bank $100 million, that's the bank's problem. I saw a bank that said 24-hour banking, but I didn't have that much time. I'm also interested in creating a lasting legacy, because bronze will last for thousands of years. Bronze is the mirror of the form, wine of the mind. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a cartographer. Not all who wander are lost. If you see a castle under fog, you must walk there to meet the extraordinary dreams. Rocks in my path? I keep them all. With them, I shall build my castle. Set your course by the stars, not by the lights of every passing ship. And all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. Chemists do not usually stutter. It would be very awkward if they did, seeing that they have times to get out such words as methylethylamylophenolium. Chemistry is the dirty part of physics. The chief incalculable in war is the human will. Better to fight for something than live for nothing. Cars haven't advanced that much since we were kids. When you boil it down, it's still a gas combustion engine. I have always considered that the substitution of the internal combustion engine for the horse marked a very gloomy milestone in the progress of mankind. It is obvious that while science is struggling to bring heaven to earth, some men are using its materials in the construction of hell. All material things seem to have been composed of the hard and solid particles, variously associated with the first creation by the counsel of an intelligent agent. The good thing about computers is that they do what you tell them to do. The bad news is that they do what you tell them to do. To err is human, but to really foul things up, you need a computer. Create with the heart, build with the mind. The four building blocks of the universe are fire, water, gravel, and vinyl. If it does not bring you happiness, will at least help you be miserable in comfort. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. If there is any work in the afterlife, you must do it. Behold me whenever you are called. Be watchful at any moment to work there. Plough my fields, carry water and sand to the east and west. Behold me whenever you are called. Economics is a subject that does not greatly respect one's wishes. You and I come by road or rail, but economists travel on infrastructure. The purpose of education is to replace an empty mind with an open one. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Benjamin Franklin may have discovered electricity, but it was the man who invented the meter who made the money. If it weren't for electricity, we'd all be watching television by candlelight. Normal people believe that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Engineers believe that if it ain't broke, it doesn't have enough features yet. One man's magic is another man's engineering. If you can walk away from a landing, it's a good landing. If you use the airplane the next day, it's an outstanding landing. For once you have tasted flight, you will walk the earth with your eyes turned skywards. For there you have been, and there you will long to return. Even though the future seems far away, it is actually beginning right now. There is nothing like a dream to create the future. I love watching my mum argue with the GPS on the way home. If you do not change direction, you may end up where you were heading. Man is a military animal, glories in gunpowder, and loves parades. The real use of gunpowder is to make all men tall. A man on a horse is spiritually as well as physically bigger than a man on foot. No hour of life is wasted that is spent in the saddle. I think the human race made a big mistake at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. We leaped for the mechanical things. People need the use of their hands to feel creative. The key words of violent economics are urbanization, industrialization, centralization, efficiency, quantity, speed. Everything has its limit. Iron ore cannot be educated into gold. The Lord made us all out of iron. Then he turns up the heat to forge some of us into steel. The man who has grit enough to bring about the afforestation or the irrigation of a country is not less worthy of honor than its conqueror. Thousands have lived without love, not one without water. I'm a big laser believer. I really think they are the wave of the future. When God said, "Let there be light," he surely must have meant perfectly coherent light. I'd imagine the whole world as one big machine. Machines never come with any spare parts, you know. They always come with the exact amount they need. Remember that people break down too, not just machinery. Each of us is carving a stone, erecting a column, or cutting a piece of stained glass in the construction of something much bigger than ourselves. When wasteful war shall statues overturn, and broils root out the work of masonry. What can be labelled, packaged, mass-produced is neither truth nor art. People can have the Model T in any colour, so long as it's black. If I were again beginning my studies, I would follow the advice of Plato and start with mathematics. Without mathematics, there's nothing you can do. Everything around you is mathematics. Everything around you is numbers. Don't judge someone until you've stood at his forge and worked with his hammer. And first Hephaestus makes a great and massive shield, and he forged on the shield 2 noble cities. Blast, build, battle. The more science intervenes in warfare, the more will be the need for engineers in the field armies. In the late war, there were never enough sappers at any time. No one starts a war, or rather, no one in his senses ought to do so, without first being clear in his mind what he intends to achieve by that war, and how he intends to conduct it. However beautiful the strategy, you should occasionally look at the results. Strategy requires thought. Tactics require observation. Tactics mean doing what you can with what you have. Who deserves more credit than the wife of a coal miner? When you find yourself in a hole, quit digging. Many, many rules had begun to bend at the hand of nanotechnology. This produced a lot of good and a lot of bad. If technology is the engine of change, then nanotechnology is the fuel for humanity's future. If you go on with this nuclear arms race, all you're going to do is make the rubble bounce. Leave the atom alone. I am a big proponent of harnessing the power of fusion from 93 million miles away. Fusion is done by our sun really, really well and for free. Here on Earth, in reactors, not so much. When we look up at night and view the stars, everything we see is shining because of distant nuclear fusion. No, my friends, we have not fallen back upon the Earth. No, nor are we submerged in the Gulf of Mexico. Yes, we are mounting into space. See those stars shining in the night, and that impenetrable darkness heaped up between the Earth and us. In the hierarchy of the major poetic substances, plastic figures as a disgraced material, lost between the effusiveness of rubber and the flat hardness of metal. Nothing on this earth lasts forever, except maybe plastic. I thought clay must feel happy in the good potter's hand. No man ever wetted clay and then left it, as if there would be bricks by chance and fortune. If the enemy know not where he will be attacked, he must prepare in every quarter, and so be everywhere weak. The pen might not be mightier than the sword, but maybe the printing press is heavier than the siege weapon. Just a few words can change everything. What gunpowder did for war, the printing press has done for the mind. A world without radio is a deaf world. Radio is the theatre of the mind. Television is the theatre of the mindless. Engineering is the art of directing the great sources of power in nature for the use and convenience of man. Many of us take better care of our automobiles than we do of our own bodies, yet the auto has replaceable parts. For a machine to run smoothly and predictably, its parts must be standard and hence replaceable. Never criticize a rifleman until you've walked a mile in his shoes. That way, he'll be barefoot and you'll be out of range. Bolt actions speak louder than words. I'll be back. Robotics has been around forever, and it's been the next best thing forever. And it's so exciting and compelling that it's easy to get carried away. When you launch a rocket, you're not really flying that rocket, you're just sort of hanging on. Rocket science has been mythologized all out of proportion to its true difficulty. Vessels large may venture more, but little boats should keep near shore. It is not that life ashore is distasteful to me, but life at sea is better. No innovation in the past 200 years has done more to save lives and improve health than the sanitation revolution, triggered by the invention of the toilet. Apart from the sanitation, the medicine, education, wine, public order, roads, the fresh water system and public health, what have the Romans ever done for us? A satellite has no conscience. Right now, there are 31 satellites zipping around the world with nothing better to do than help you find your way to the grocery store. Claims that cannot be tested, assertions immune to disproof, are veridically worthless, whatever value they may have in inspiring us or exciting our sense of wonder. If facts don't fit the theory, change the facts. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. I cannot imagine any condition which would cause a ship to founder. Modern shipbuilding has gone beyond that. There is nothing but a plank between a sailor and eternity. All the best romances bloom in the midst of a good siege. The lowest is to attack a city. Siege of a city is only done as a last resort. It ascends from the earth to the heaven, and it again descends to the earth, and receives the force of things superior and inferior. There is little man has made that approaches anything in nature, but a sailing ship does. It's not the towering sails, but the unseen wind that moves a ship. Science owes more to the steam engine than the steam engine owes to science. It is arguable whether the human race have been gainers by the march of science beyond the steam engine. I would say invisibility would be sort of a fun power to have, just to see what it was like to move through the world and not be looked at. In art and dream, may you proceed with abandon. In life, may you proceed with balance and stealth. There are three things extremely hard: steel, a diamond, and to know oneself. The best steel doesn't always shine the brightest. Betwixt the stirrup and the ground, mercy I asked, mercy I found. Few inventions have been so simple as the stirrup, but few have had so catalytic an influence on history. There's so much plastic in this culture that vinyl leopard skin is becoming an endangered synthetic. There may be no forgiveness for polyester. On this one matter, Satan and the Lord are in agreement. Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just realign it. Sometimes the wheel turns slowly, but it turns. Writing is easy. All you have to do is cross out the wrong words. Writing means sharing. It's part of the human condition to want to share things. Thoughts, ideas, opinions.